Hi everyone, TheOccosop here, dear YouTubers, and well, yes, I managed to do that. It was pretty difficult to well to find a way to link a bow and the arrows it shoots, because actually there are no NBT tags. There are absolutely no technical links between a bow and the arrow they shoot. So how did I manage to do that? Well, everything is based on 4 different object types. Well, that's kind of a lot compared to for the previous video I made concerning explosive arrows, but well, it works almost 100% of the case. It's something like 99.99999% of the case. So well, I think that's great. You can of course use this in multiplayer. You can have many people shooting with both normal bows and TNT bows. And well, let's go into the explanations. First of all, as you can see, the system is pretty compact. Actually, you only need this module to get it to work. This is for something else. And here, the whole thing is based on a field clock, which is kind of interesting because all the blocks are placed and replaced at the exact same time, which means that the different command blocks are triggered in a very specific order corresponding to where they are placed in the world. For those who don't know, in this particular cases where all these command blocks are triggered at the same time, the bottom one, the small y, will be triggered before the big Y. It will go from the bottom to the top, and then it will go from small x to big X. And for every same X, it will trigger first the small z and then the big Z. Here is how it works, because, well, this idea is incredibly interesting because it means that you don't need repeaters, and then thanks to that you don't need to spend some time with technical things, which means that everything is absolutely instant. Well, so the first thing, as you can see on the right side, I have an objective which seems to track if I have a TNT bow or a classical bow or anything else, of course, in my hand. And well, that's new. I'm gonna explain you exactly how you can do that. So as I've said, the first command block which will be triggered every game tick, you can um, see this system as a cycle which repeats itself every 1/20th second. That's incredibly fast, but well, every time the old cycle is made before the next one is uh, is made. So here's the first command: scoreboard players set to all the people in the map hold bow 0. By the way, hold bow is dummy, of course. Um, the idea with that is we reset kind of the score for a very short time to all the people at every game tick. And immediately after, there are a lot of scoreboard players. There are actually 9 for the 9 slots. They are actually uh, giving 1 to the scoreboard, to the object type hold bow, to all the people here, for example, to all the people who have the slot 0 selected, which is this one, and who have in this specific slot an item which is named tin bow in this case. You can put absolutely anything there, of course. And that's exactly the same here for the slot number 1 or the second, well, not the first, number 2, number 3, number 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So here you are, you have all the slots uh, are well, the system tracks for all the different slots, the 9 of them, and then there are three new object types which are used, and these are the heart of the system. The idea is that I thought that the only link between an arrow and the bow is the person who's shooting. And well, every time I'm shooting, there's actually a scoreboard, which is not this one. Shot. Shot is a stat use item 261, which is Minecraft bow. In the very near future, we will probably need to put Minecraft to double the bow, but for now it doesn't work. It's one of the only IDs which are still numerical IDs. So every time I shoot with a bow, it can be absolutely, well, no matter what bow it is. It can be TN bow or a classical bow. And every time I shoot, there is a scoreboard players, which is actually executed at every people who have just shot, because well, at the end of the cycle, everyone's score for shot is reset, which means that this command execute to all the people who have shot an arrow in the previous 1/20th of second and who hold a TN bow. That's what it means. There's cobalt players executed to all these people, which is actually giving 1 to the scoreboard, to the object type TN arrow, in a to all the arrows in a radius of 4 around me, and which have a score for lifetime equal 1. Because there's some kind of interesting thing. Let's guess that someone who has a classical arrow is trying to shoot you, but it hasn't succeeded actually, and that the arrow comes very near to you, to prevent it to become a TNT arrow, even it's very it's not really possible, but well, that's security. Only the arrows which have just spawned are concerned by this command. What is lifetime exactly? That's dummy object type. Oh god, there are a lot of them. Let's see if we can see something. As you can see, I've just the list has just been updated, and the arrows, all the arrows have a different lifetime depending on when they were shot. And if an arrow is exactly next to me at the exact time when I shoot and hold the TN bow, it means that this arrow is supposed to be a TNT arrow. And so this is all how they are tracked. Well, then there is some very classic things, and the exact same system as the one I did in the previous video, but now it concerns only TN arrows. So I'm tracking with 1 to the object type exp all the arrows which are TN arrows and which are in ground, which means that they are supposed to explode immediately after. And then this command block is executed, and there's an execute to all the arrows which are supposed to explode immediately. We're summoning a TNT at the exact same place. And well, this one is debug command. If you want to know exactly what is this supposed to do, simply check my first video. This object type is absolutely horrible. And well, and at the end, this is simply the clock which is incrementing the lifetime of all arrows of 1 every game tick, which means that every second an arrow can get to 20 for the scoreboard lifetime. That's very quick. Then, as I've said before, the object type shot is set to 0 for everybody. And one last thing, I thought it was cool, so I'm gonna show you. When someone is shooting, there is a very short time with the resistance effect to get a rocket. Well, so yeah, something like that. I think that's cool. And of course, since you have some well, some resistance, of course you can do that in game mode 0 or game mode 2, and you don't take any damage at this exact specific time. Well, I think that's all for today. If you like this video, I'm gonna put a lot of these kind of great stuff, instant stuff, in the near future. I have a lot of ideas. I got many ideas from you guys because, well, comments are very useful for this kind of stuff. If you liked it very much, there is a subscribe button. I really appreciate personally. Well, let's be serious. You can, well, you can find me on Twitter too, at TheOccosop. And I think that's all for today. We will finish with this kind of thing I really like. That's the new mob. What's that? What's that name? Oh. Oh.